Sometimes the world slows down, not to punish you, but to call you inward. Cancer, you may feel like everything around you is on pause. Dreams delayed, plans faded. No answers, just a silence that stretches endlessly, like the tide pulling back from the shore. You ask yourself, am I stuck? Did I lose momentum? Have I failed somehow? But what if this isn't a punishment? What if this silence is actually a sacred invitation? Right now, you're not being pushed forward. You're being asked to go deeper, to return to the place where no one else can follow, the still, silent garden of your soul. This is not the end. It's not even a setback. It's a portal, a space between endings and beginnings, a holy threshold where transformation brews, in the unseen, in the unfelt, in the deeply still. And in this very moment, a card rises gently from the tarot. The Hanged Man, upside down, suspended, surrendered, but not lost. No, not lost at all. Just waiting, just trusting, just becoming. You see, Cancer, you're not falling behind. You're being repositioned. Not in the way the world sees, but in the way the soul transforms. And so today, we begin. Not by moving forward, but by standing still, by listening to the silence, by allowing space for the rebirth that only stillness can deliver. Close your eyes, place a hand over your heart, feel how it's still beating. Even in the pause, you are still alive, still sacred, still becoming. Welcome to the pause that heals everything. What if this stillness you're in, this strange, motionless space, is not a void, but a womb? Cancer, you have always moved through life guided by your emotions. You ride waves, you flow, you feel everything before you see it. And when the waters go still, it can feel like you're losing yourself. But pause, breathe, feel deeper, because something magical happens when you stop trying to move forward, when you stop pushing, when you stop needing life to give you answers. In that moment, the sacred pause begins. It's not quiet because nothing's happening. It's quiet because everything inside you is rearranging. You are not being left behind. You are being realigned. Your energy, your purpose, your dreams, they're not gone. They're being reshaped to match the new frequency of who you're becoming. This is not wasted time. This is sacred timing. The Hanged Man whispers, let go of your grip on what should be. Let go of urgency and embrace clarity. Let go of action and welcome alignment. Can you surrender, Cancer? Can you let the tide pull back without panicking? Can you trust that silence has intelligence? That stillness carries wisdom? There is medicine in the pause. There is truth in doing nothing. There is healing in not forcing anything to change. You are not lazy. You are gestating. Something luminous is forming in you. But just like the moon takes time to become full, just like the tide takes time to return, just like the seed needs stillness to sprout, you too need this space to become. So don't rush this part. Don't apologize for needing stillness. Don't fight the quiet. Make peace with it. This is the pause that purifies. This is the breath between heartbreak and rebirth. This is where the next version of you is being woven silently in the unseen. And when the moment is right, you will rise again, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. Silence is not empty. It is full of answers, but you must become still enough to hear them. Cancer, your soul is a seashell, delicate, deep, echoing. And inside that shell, if you listen close enough, there is a voice. Not the voice of the world, not the voice of fear, but the quiet, ancient voice of your own knowing. You don't need to chase signs right now. You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to force clarity to come. You simply need to listen. Let the silence speak. Sit with your hand on your heart. Can you feel it? The rhythm that keeps you here, the drum of your existence. That is not just your body. That is your truth, pulsing. Ask yourself, what am I still holding that no longer belongs? Who am I becoming when no one is watching? What part of me needs to be seen? Not by others, but by me? You see, silence doesn't always answer with words. Sometimes it answers with realizations, with chills on your skin, with a tear that finally falls, with a deep breath that feels like coming home. This is how the soul speaks. Not in noise, but in nudges, in stillness, in a softness that cannot be rushed. And here, within this sacred silence, a new card gently reveals itself, the High Priestess. She doesn't shout. She doesn't explain. She simply knows. And now, so do you. You are beginning to remember the way home. Not a place on a map, but the soft, sacred place inside you that has always known the truth. You are not lost, Cancer. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are simply learning to trust what can only be heard in silence. So sit with it, honor it, let it teach you, because when you finally rise again, you will do so with a voice not borrowed, but reborn from the silence within. Cancer, do you remember who you were before the world told you who to be? Before the heartbreaks, before the walls, before the masks you wore just to feel safe? Somewhere along the way, you became the healer, the listener, the protector of others. You carried so much for so many, sometimes at the cost of yourself. But now, in this sacred stillness, a voice is rising, a whisper from the core of who you are. And it says, come back to me. Come back to who you were before the pain, before the pleasing, before the pretending, before you learned to hide your own needs beneath the weight of everyone else's expectations. This is not about becoming someone new. This is about remembering who you already are beneath the noise. The High Priestess stands in the quiet, holding space for your return. She doesn't tell you what to do. She invites you to feel, to remember, and in that remembrance, you begin to gather your scattered pieces. The child who once dreamed without fear, the heart that used to believe in its own magic, the spirit that didn't shrink itself to fit in. You are not broken. You are buried under layers of should, of not enough, of be smaller, of be strong for others. But now, it's your turn to rise, to soften, to reclaim the you that never stopped glowing, even when the world forgot how to see your light. This is the chapter of returning, not to a past version of you, but to the purest version, the one that existed before survival became your art form. You are not too much. You never were. You are just enough to be who you were born to be. So take your time. Hold yourself gently. Speak to your reflection like someone you're meeting for the very first time and falling in love with again, because you are not here to disappear. You are here to reappear as fully, freely, and fiercely as your soul desires. Cancer, your heart is not weak because it feels deeply. It is powerful because it transforms. You are an emotional alchemist. You carry ancient wisdom, not in your mind, but in your sensitivity. And now, in this stillness, you are being asked to face the feelings you've spent so long avoiding, the grief, the anger, the fear, the shame, not to drown in them, but to transmute them. You see, emotions are not enemies. They are messengers. They arrive not to punish you, but to free you. But only if you dare to sit with them, to feel them, to ask, what are you here to teach me? Instead of, how fast can I get rid of you? This is emotional alchemy, when sadness becomes clarity, when rage becomes a boundary, when fear becomes intuition, when longing becomes a map toward what your soul truly needs. The moon card enters now, its silver light shimmering over your internal ocean. It asks, can you trust the feelings that rise at night? Can you swim through what's unclear without needing to name it right away? This is not about fixing. It's about feeling fully, letting each emotion move through you like a wave that knows when to rise and when to fall. You don't need to judge your sadness. You don't need to hide your rage. You don't need to smile through your sorrow. You are allowed to be a storm and a sanctuary in the same breath. Cancer, your gift is not that you avoid pain. Your gift is that you transform it. You turn tears into truth. You turn heartache into healing. You turn the weight of the world into wisdom that glows from your very skin. So do not fear what you feel. Let it rise. Let it speak. Let it alchemize. Because every feeling you meet with compassion becomes a light you can lead others with. And maybe, just maybe, the more you feel, the more you heal. Cancer, you were born with a shell, not to hide, but to honor your sacred space. Your shell is not a weakness. It is a temple, a sanctuary, a soft refusal to let the world bruise your spirit again and again. And yet, how many times have you left your shell to take care of someone else? How often have you silenced your own needs? To keep the peace? To be liked? To be loved? But what if I told you your shell is not selfish? Your boundaries are not barriers. They are bridges to your healing. This part of your journey is about reclaiming your right to say no, your right to say not now, your right to say this drains me, and I matter too. You don't have to explain why you're tired, why you can't be everything for everyone, why your soul needs solitude more than another conversation that leaves you empty. Inside the shell, there is stillness, there is softness, there is truth. This is where you recharge. This is where your dreams whisper. This is where your magic regenerates. The card that rises now is Four of Swords. Rest, reflection, retreat. A permission slip from spirit. You don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to be the strong one today. You are allowed to unplug. You are allowed to cocoon. You are allowed to disappear for a while, to remember who you are when no one needs anything from you. And in that sacred shell, you don't just rest. You remember your light isn't here to burn itself out for others. It's here to guide you back home, first and always to you. So breathe, withdraw, return to the shell without shame, because the version of you that emerges from sacred rest will be softer, wiser, and stronger in ways the world won't see, but your soul will feel forever. Cancer, there are places within you that still ache when touched, memories that still ripple through your chest like distant thunder, soft spots that no one else sees, but you carry every single day. And yet, those very wounds hold your wisdom. You see, the wound is not just a scar, it is an opening, a place where light entered through the cracks life created. So much of your strength was born in silence, in nights you didn't think you'd survive, in tears no one witnessed, in forgiveness you gave without being asked, in rising again when no one clapped. You've always had to feel deeply. You were made that way, not as a punishment, but as a portal. The pain you've known has sharpened your intuition. It's why you can sense when something's off, why you comfort others so naturally, why your love is so gentle, because you know what it's like to be hurt by hands that didn't know how to hold. The card that appears now is the Star. Hope, healing, Renewal, it whispers. Your pain has meaning. Your cracks are constellations now. What broke you once is now what makes your light so rare. And Cancer, you don't need to pretend you're over it. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you'll feel whole. Other days, you'll unravel a bit. That's okay, because every time you choose to face the ache instead of flee it, you rewrite the story. You turn trauma into testimony. You turn sorrow into softness. You turn survival into sacred knowing. Your wound becomes your wisdom. When you stop asking why it happened and start asking, what has it awakened in me? And maybe, just maybe, you were never meant to forget. You were meant to feel it, understand it, and use it to guide others through their darkness. Not because you're broken, but because you are proof that broken things can still be beautiful. Cancer, they told you that to survive this world, you had to be tougher, colder, less emotional, more like them. But you were born soft, tender, empathic, wired to feel everything. And they mistook that softness for weakness. But they were wrong. Your softness is not fragile. It is fierce. To love in a world that numbs. To cry in a world that scoffs. To care, to comfort, to stay kind. Despite the scars, that is power most people will never understand. You are not here to harden. You are here to hold space. For healing, for hope, for truth. Softness is your superpower. Think about it. What does a storm crave? Aquietable. What does a warrior need when the war is over? A place to rest. And what does a child long for after being afraid too long? Arms that hold gently, not tightly. That's what you are, Cancer. You are the soft place in a world full of sharp edges. And that is not just beautiful, it's essential. The card that appears now is strength. Not the kind that roars, but the kind that whispers, I can bend and not break. I can love and not lose myself. I can be soft and still stand strong. You are the calm in the chaos. You are the kindness that shifts energy in a room. You are the warmth that stays, even after everyone else has gone cold. So never let the world convince you to be anything other than exactly who you are. Your tears are holy. Your touch is healing. Your presence is peace. And Cancer, those who cannot honor your softness are simply not meant to hold it. Let them go. Let the coldness pass you by, because you were made for gentler things. And the people who are meant for you, they will see your softness and bow to it. Like a blessing. Cancer, you have something most people long for, but rarely understand. You have a flame inside, quiet but powerful. A knowing, a gut feeling, a whisper in your bones that speaks louder than logic ever could. It's your intuition, not a guess, not a hunch, but a deep, ancient compass passed down through your emotional lineage. You just know when someone's lying. You feel the shift in a room before anyone speaks. You sense what others bury, and you don't need evidence. You are the evidence. But sometimes you doubt it, because the world taught you to trust facts over feelings, proof over presence, and silence over inner signals. But Cancer, you were not made to second-guess your soul. The card that rises now is the High Priestess, guardian of mystery, keeper of the veil, the embodiment of divine intuition. She does not speak much. She feels. She waits. She trusts the unseen. And so must you. You've always known. When something was off, you just talked yourself out of it. You've always sensed what was right. You just asked others for permission. But from this moment on, may you no longer seek outside validation for inner knowing. Your body is a sacred instrument. Your heart is a truth teller. Your feelings are messages, not mistakes. You don't need to explain why you walked away, why you chose differently, why you said no when others expected yes. You only need to honor the flame that flickers inside and says, "This is right for me." And here's the magic. The more you listen to it, the louder it gets, the clearer the path becomes, and the less you need anyone else to understand it. Your intuition is not a light switch. It's a fire. Feed it, follow it, trust it, because in a world that teaches you to disconnect, your ability to stay connected to yourself is nothing short of radical. And Cancer, that inner flame will never lead you astray. It may guide you down quiet roads, unpopular choices, or unfamiliar terrain, but it will always guide you home. Cancer, you've walked far, through shadows and softness, through heartbreak and healing, through every version of yourself that cried, grew, let go, and held on again. But now, you are coming home, not to a place, not to a person, but to yourself. You are returning to the truth you forgot when you were busy surviving, that you were never too much, that your feelings were never a flaw, that your softness was your strength all along. And in this quiet moment, you no longer have to try to be anything. Just be. Be the one who feels deeply. Be the one who loves gently. Be the one who forgives, not because they deserved it, but because you deserve peace. You are not broken. You are becoming. The card that lands now is the World, the final card of the major arcana. Completion, wholeness, a sacred return. It says, you have done the work. You have carried the weight. You have become the person you needed when you were hurting. And now, there is room. Room for joy. Room for rest. Room for love that doesn't ask you to shrink. You've learned that home was never a house or a promise. Home is a feeling. And you, Cancer, have always been that feeling for everyone else. Now it's time to be it for yourself. Wrap yourself in the same care you give so freely to others. Speak softly to your inner child. Let them know, we made it. We're safe now. We're loved. You do not need to earn rest. You do not need to prove your heart. You only need to remember how worthy it already is. And as you close this chapter, know this, you are not alone. The moon still knows your name. The tides still move with your breath. The universe still sings in your frequency. You were always enough. And now, you remember. Welcome home, Cancer. You are the sanctuary you were always searching for.